What is up, video type people? That was a really long pause. I am tired. Hi, how are you? I'm sorry. This is not getting off to a good start, but that's okay. That's all right. I'm tired. I am sleepy. I got home from Europe yesterday. Yay, Europe! And I am starting just now to feel the jet lag, and you would think it would be fine going back, because Europe is 5 hours roughly ahead, on average, of Toronto, where I live. So, like, yesterday was fine, but now it's slowly starting to, like, I feel like I should already be in bed, and it's really not that late for how late I'm usually up. So that's a thing. Just up working on a bunch of stuff with my way too much Starbucks and Red Bull in the general vicinity. I promise that's not all from one day. Anyways, I was just chilling out. Thought I would catch up, see how things are going. While I was gone, what happened? I released a record with Impeto called Learn to Fly. Love that tune. Great song. Fun fact about that one, that's actually the demo vocal, which is really cool. I actually just built out just kind of like a general idea, just writing one day, and they picked it up and started to run with it, and then it just got to a point where everyone was sort of happy with the demo vocal, and it's a pitched vocal, so it's like a different type of thing, but it worked, and everyone was good, and I'm good, and yeah, I love that track. So, Learn to Fly is out on Mixmash. That's pretty cool. Beyond that was a crazy long pause. Beyond that, I've also got a new record out with East and Young called In the Sky. And you'll notice that Learn to Fly and In the Sky are, let's say, thematically similar. To be honest, and this is a great time to talk about it, sometimes when you write in volume, so when you're writing for a lot of artists, or when you're writing a lot of different songs, not only do releases get sort of staggered and they change, and you can't always coordinate things like that. As an example, those two songs were written almost a year apart, right? You can't plan and coordinate for those types of things, and I tend to write on the basis of whatever is sort of going on in the track and how it makes me feel and sort of what different types of things it evokes in me. And every once in a blue moon, it just happens that you get, I mean, I don't think the tracks aren't really similar thematically, but it's just funny. It's actually like hilarious to me. So yeah, I thought that was worth sort of explaining. Please don't think that I am that redundant of a writer. It just was a unique circumstance where two things were not supposed to correlate, and they did. Yeah. So last thing I want to talk about, because I'm trying to keep these short. Don't mind Fat Dave. Up chin, you get Fat Dave. No one needs Fat Dave. So for the writers out there, a thing that I'm working on, just like an idea I'm working on. What I want to talk about today is tone. And I don't mean tone of what you're singing, but what I mean is tone of what you're working on. So I think it's important to separate, in my opinion, it's important to separate the song from the tone of the track for sure, but it's also important to recognize that the tone of what you're using to write with is going to naturally guide the way in which you want to write. What catches your ear, what seems important, what doesn't. I work with, you guys, like, just when I do my primary writing, it's on this Korg SP250, nothing exciting keyboard. Like, it was like $1,000, like, 7 years ago. I've had it for a really long time. And it's always served me well. And it's got a couple different patches. Nothing crazy. But the one thing I could sort of recommend in general is to play around with tones. And I mean, like, one thing that sort of sits with me is that I almost always write on this electric piano sound. So whenever someone sends me a track, the first thing I do is I spend time learning all the different chord progressions and what key it's in. And then I usually end up using this particular patch, because even though I could do the same chord progression, there's just something more luscious about this. And because of that, it will help me to write ideas that I wouldn't have written in the first place. In my opinion, at least, it seems to guide the process, and it's a level of sonic comfort that you don't really get if you just work in a piano. It's the same thing that I actually get on an acoustic piano. If I work with an acoustic piano, I find it to be like that much more inspiring because it's so in the room and full-bodied and those types of things. So that's sort of something to consider for those of you who are looking to write maybe top line or maybe just tracks or whatever. Is actually, I'd say more so for top line. Really experiment with the sound that you're using to write over. Even if it's the same chords in the same progression at the same tempo, try different sounds. Try different things when you're a writer, because sometimes just sitting there with the same chords or the same track or whatever is going to keep you in one path. And by opening it up and, you know, sort of working on the chords outside of a track, and it doesn't always work that way. I mean, sometimes I write over a track, but a lot of times that can open up new possibilities for you, and it can open up a new dynamic of writing that maybe you didn't have before. So that's the thing. I don't know precisely. I felt the need to stand. I don't know precisely what that's going to mean for you as a writer, or even for me as a writer, but it's, I think, an important thing to talk about. Need to get into some better lighting. There we go. Yeah. So again, in a summary, went to Europe, saw Amsterdam and Paris and London. They're amazing. I dropped 2 new records. I should say dropped. That's stupid. We've released 2 new records. Impeto, Learn to Fly, available through Mixmash on all the different stuff. Literally anywhere you can get music. And Easton Young, In the Sky, in brackets, Horizons. It's a vocal mix over their original, their big tune from sort of end of 2014, early this year. It's the vocal release of that, again, available wherever music comes through Big Beat, so please check that out. There are more songs coming in the near future. I'm forever writing, so there's always stuff queued up. Yeah, so that's pretty much it for now. But I will be back sooner rather than later. Yes. Yes.